Were Crooks and Routhe both fall guys for the deep state or some foreign power? Let's look at the guns they use to see if there's any connection. Both Trump shooters use mid-range rifles that aren't generally considered sniper rifles. They're both high-capacity, semi-automatic rifles that hold 30 bullets per magazine. Although the AR-15 and AK-47 look scary, they're actually not the greatest guns for a long-distance shot. The use of these rifles also begs the question, were they using assault rifles specifically to try to get them banned for the liberal Democratic Party? For $370, you can get a Pink Youth Muddy Girl 223 Remington bolt-action rifle that would be far more effective in this type of situation. In my opinion, both Trump shooters were beginner, maybe intermediate shooters who were relying on a lot of rounds in their magazine over actual shooting skills to try to get the job done. In the more recent shooting attempt, the choice of using an AK-47 was actually a terrible decision. Now, an AR-15 generally shoots a 5.56 round, and an AK-47 shoots a much more powerful 7.62. So shouldn't the bigger bullet be for longer range and be more accurate? No. An AR-15's effective range is past 600 yards. An AK-47's is under 300 yards, almost half the effective range. See, the AK-47 was created during World War II and it started to see action between 1947 and 1949. Studies from World War II showed fights occurred at much shorter distances, and more rounds fired increased the chances of winning. Full auto fire used by Germans during the war was the path to victory. The Soviet Union issued the AK-47 to troops in 1949. It wasn't until the mid-60s that America upgraded from the M14 to the M16, also known as the AR-15 as a civilian model. It is also widely reported that the grouping or the accuracy of an AK-47 is far inferior to the tighter tolerances of the AR-15 platform. Now, yes, Routhe did have a scope on his AK-47, but they were never built to accommodate a scope. The dust cover on top of the AK-47 was great for reliability, but it did not allow a scope to maintain zero or accuracy. In fact, it was only later that a side-mounted scope was introduced for those that wanted magnification on their AK-47s. It would make sense for this commie to use a Soviet-style weapon versus something manufactured and produced in the USA. Now, this AK-47 itself is a cheap polymer version, essentially molded plastic around main metal firing mechanisms. Probably around the same price range as Crooks gun, $500, $600, $700, somewhere in that price range. For an accuracy comparison between the AR-15 and the AK-47, we go to Ultimate Reloader, a YouTuber that did this field test. You can see here the AK with factory rounds and hand loads had a quite wide group, where the AR-15 had tighter grouping, tighter tolerances. Ooh, a little down on that. I was on target.
And with 5 shots, my group size came in at about 6¼ inches.
Now, he is shooting in ideal conditions on a gun stand, but the Trump shooter had his barrel through the chain link fence, and he's using that to rest the front of the gun on.
With the AR-15, typical acceptance criteria for the military for something like an M4 style rifle would be about 4 MOA, and I almost cut that in half. Really though, you have to ask, what's the point? We're really comparing apples to oranges here. The AK rifle was designed to be low cost to manufacture. It was intended to be extremely reliable in the field, and this rifle really represents that well. Close quarter combat, a slower, heavier projectile, whereas the AR-15 was this totally space-age design, modular, lightweight, 22 caliber bullets, lightweight ammunition, high velocity. It's really a totally different type of design.
Did these shooters choose mid-range rifles because of inexperience and wanting to put more bullets towards the target? Or were they purposefully using the most scary assault rifles to try to enact a ban on them in the United States in tandem with their assassination attempts? Now, Crooks was recovered with 2 international cell phones, and Routhe obviously had connections with foreign countries like Ukraine. So is there a connection between the 2 shooters? Or are these both 2 lone wolves acting on their own, trying to save America? Leave a comment down below. What do you think? Don't forget to subscribe to Conservative Vibes. I'm CV, and I'll see you next time.